why recommended services are essential to the health of your vehicle. Go to ChicagolandJiffyLube.com for details. Save time with the convenience of My Jiffy Lube, the service you can depend on at the convenience you control. Go to ChicagolandJiffyLube.com for details.
It's Wednesday night. Edgy Tim is here. Coach Rod is here. The best high school football fans in the state are here. It's time for Pigskin Preview. Coaches, players, fans, and experts. You get them all right here on Pigskin Preview. Powered by State Farm agents Kevin Malloy and John Wright.
Good evening and welcome to the Week 5 edition, spring edition, I shall say, of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL Will County's News Talk Sports. Edgy Tim here, your host for the next 2 hours as we talk IHSA football and all sorts of fun issues. Joining me on the broadcast is, you know him, you love him, he's our guy, Evan Bredesen, making his live stream video debut. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Edge.
Coach Joe, as the screen will tell you in a moment here, Coach Joe is on an island vacation and will not be joining us this evening. So we hope Joe enjoys his island vacation and hope to have Coach Joe back with us next week. So, Evan, we are, well, we're about 70% done with easily the strangest spring football season in the history of football seasons.
Oh, without a doubt.
It has been bizarre, folks. Fortunately, here in the Will County area, up until really the last week, we've kind of been spared the cancellation rescheduling game, but unfortunately that has begun to hit the area as well. And certainly that's going to be a big part of our coverage this evening. So we have a full slate. 625, Steve Soucie, you know him, you love him. He is the sports editor of the Joliet Herald News and part of the Friday Night Drive team for Shaw Media. He will join us at 625. He has several thoughts and maybe some behind-the-scenes stories of what's exactly been going on as far as scheduling, postponing, rescheduling. It's been a trip, to say the least, so I'll get into that with Steve Soucie at 625. 645, another school that has been impacted by the rescheduling game. Of course, I am talking about Lincoln Way Central head coach Jeremy Cordell will join us. Evan, last week, we wound up having a very intriguing game here in the Will County area as Lincoln Way Central ended up playing Plainfield North that no one really saw coming until a day or two before the game.
I found out the day of. I was sitting in the WJOL studios and I got a text from someone within the Lincoln Way School District going, oh, hey, by the way, Lincoln Way Central found a game. We're going to play Plainfield North tonight. I was like, huh? What?
Yeah. So we'll talk to Jeremy a little bit about that game. And by the way, we want to make sure we are advertising it out there. As of now, Lincoln Way Central is looking for a week 6 game, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll get into that with Jeremy Cordell. 7 o'clock hour, another school that has been impacted by a COVID delay. Brett Coy from Lemont will join us around 7:05. His school, and Evan, you know, his story is really interesting with the contact tracing where a referee ended up testing positive for COVID, shut down Lemont and shut down TF North for a week. So, again, the whole contact tracing has really been interesting to follow and has had a major impact really on a lot of these closings. A lot of it's been contact tracing.
Contact tracing has played a lot with that, and it's interesting you mentioned officials because we don't think about them as part of the equation quite a bit. I was at the Joliet West Joliet Central game, and we ended up starting about a half hour, 40 minutes earlier than kickoff was initially going to because of weather issues, and the officials were racing there. They were literally changing in the parking lot by the gate as the fans and players were walking in, and they were very respectful. But a couple of the officials, when people would stop and try to talk to them, they'd be like, hey, I'm sorry. If you could just keep walking. And they weren't trying to be rude or anything, but I understand why. They have hearing how many games that crew had done, I think that game was going to be their third game they were going to do, or they were going to do 3 games that weekend. it's amazing. There are already small numbers of officials. We talk about it every season about what are we going to do to get more officials? How are we going to get more officials? What are the concerns about officials? And now we're in a season where it's even thinner because you have some officials who are going, I'm not doing this under these conditions right now, or I can't do that heavy a workload, or they're out because of COVID issues.
Or they come down with it during the season, which, again, we see could just have a huge fallout. So, again, we will get into that in the 7 o'clock hour. Also, Bill Bicker joining us from Plainfield South. And unfortunately, Evan, Plainfield South is on a pause and could very well be done for the football season. So we will talk to Bill about what's going on over at Plainfield South and what they've had to deal with during all of this. So we will talk football as well. There are still plenty of games to break down, certainly in the Will County area for this upcoming Week 5 game. And, of course, I wanted to mention this edition and every edition of Pigskin Preview brought to you by State Farm agents Kevin Malloy in New Lenox and John Wright in Joliet. Like a good neighbor, Evan.
State Farm is there.
Attaboy. And Pizza Mia. 2 area locations, Homer Glen and our friends in New Lenox. Visit Pizza Mia at pizzamiaonline.com, pizzamiaonline.com. And the Week 5 spring edition of the WJOL EDGYTIM Big 5 poll is as follows. Number 1, Lincoln Way East. Number 2, Joliet Catholic Academy. Number 3, Lincoln Way West, the Warriors with a nice win over HF. Again, just great to see. And Wilmington goes 4-0, beat Coal City. So they are the number 4 team in the poll this week. And number 5, Lockport, lost by Lockport. But, the Porters are still hanging in there. And, again, a team I think definitely deserving. So that is the Week 5 WJOLEdgytim.com Big 5 poll. You can get that poll every Monday morning on Slocum in the Morning. Yes, sir.
I was just going to ask, with Lincoln Way West win, that's the last game in the HF career of Coach Buzz, isn't it?
It is.
Because HF has pulled the plug on the remainder
HF
of their
is shut
season.
down as well. So, yeah, so they are done.
The longtime legendary coach at HF. This was his last season. He's going to, I believe, Crown Point, Indiana next year.
He is. And I'm not surprised that they ended up getting locked down. As I told you, their numbers were way down when they played Lincoln Way East, and they continue to dwindle. And again, Evan, part of this is it's not just COVID. It's COVID. It's injury, which you talk to some coaches, they will tell you the injury factor has definitely been increased, and a lot of them will point towards not enough time, prep time, not enough conditioning time when this all fired up. Again, depends who you want to talk to, but certainly coaches have their views on why things have been happening. So, a lot involved. And again, it's going to be interesting to see how things shake out between now and as we get through Week 6, because as we talked about before we went on the air, I am hearing from coaches all over the state of Illinois over the last 24, 48 hours. And it's interesting because they're kind of feeling things out to see, well, hey, who's looking for a game? Well, are you looking for a game? Well, not officially, but we're hearing this opponent is having some issues and they might end up having to postpone. So it's a huge speculation game out there right now. And when we bring in Steve Soucie, we'll talk about it. But I've never felt more like a travel agent over the last 2 or 3 weeks than I have during the spring football season. So again, phone lines open for right now, 815-254-7300. Hello to everybody watching on the stream. We appreciate you joining us and being part of the show. Nate Turner, our legendary Edgy Board poster out there watching, he says he's digging the old school Patriot hoodie, my friend.
Yeah, old school. This is a Pat Patriot. I wish they'd wear those uniforms still, but
at least you're not bitter about it.
No, I like the alternate kind of throwback. I like throwback uniforms. I don't know why. It's probably just like most sports fans. I do too. Nostalgia.
If they're done well.
If they're done correctly. Like, to me, there's almost no better baseball uniform than the old Chicago White Sox 80s block socks with the, batter with the helmet.
The ones that they wear on Sunday.
Yeah, the one that they wear on Sunday. I could see if they wore that full time, I'd be okay with it.
It almost seems like it's getting there, because if you look at the gear that's out now for Sox, it's more, it's definitely more that logo and that look than it is just about anything else. So again, 815-254-7300. If you'd love to join us, we would love to have you on the show. By the way, if you can't get enough of Evan and myself, and let's face it, folks, who can, honestly? We've got plenty here for you. We're going to be back on the air tomorrow night, sir. in a totally different sport, a totally different format. Evan and I will be covering the championship game of the WJOL softball tournament tomorrow out at Inwood. First of all, I have a long experience with softball. Not that I know anything and I'm talking about, and we can talk about that with football too, but I was on the travel circuit, the high school circuit for a long time with my daughter. Definitely love high school softball, have for a long time. So I'm looking forward to that aspect. I'm also excited, obviously, to work with you, but to see the brand new Inwood fields.
It's unbelievable. It's remarkable. If you haven't seen it up close in person, what it looks like, the complex they've been able to put in over there. And again, with how much this area loves its softball and baseball, it's hard to believe it's kind of the first one of its kind in our area. There's been talks for a long time about putting in a facility like that.
Yep.
But this year is pretty darn special what they've been able to put in over there.
Right. So basically they had an outside, we'll call it a contractor, pay
Correct.
to install turf fields on all the softball fields out at Inwood. And again, just totally changes the dynamic of that facility. You can have tournaments regardless of the weather. It just makes that Inwood complex that much more valuable. And again, kudos to the Park District for doing that. So I'm excited we get a chance to go out there and cover a game.
Your friend Bob is on the phone.
Hello, Bob.
What's up, Mitch?
I don't know, Bob. All I know is I've got an empty seat next to me, and we're kind of flying in missing man formation without Coach Joe. So keep your phone close, Bob. If I need a co-host, you might be one of my first calls.
That'd be all right. Hey, I got you a question to ask Steve.
Okay.
Ask him if he could say the top 4 teams in each bracket.
Is top 4 teams in each bracket?
Yeah, like the playoffs. Who's
I know that we'll ask Steve some of those questions when we have him on in a little bit. I know that that the Friday Night Drive group is going to do a little something special. I don't want to tip the hand of what they're trying to do. We'll let Steve do that if he wants to on the air, but I don't know if it's necessarily going to be a playoff bracket, Bob. We'll try to find that out of Steve, but I will mention that when we have him on the air. Everything good with you?
Yeah, I'm hanging in there. Hilltoppers look good. We're wasting the year.
I'm sorry, Bob. I missed that.
I said the Hilltops look good. We're wasting the year now.
I know. And of course, it'd have to be during this kind of situation where after week 6 you're shut down. But
yeah,
I think it's just got to get you more excited and pumped up for the fall.
Yeah.
All right, my friend. Appreciate you joining us.
Have a good one.
All right, Bob drops off, and now it is officially an edition of Pigskin Preview. 815-254-7300. Would always love to hear from you. We've got the phone line open here. For a couple more minutes here before we go to commercial. As far as the area is concerned, is there a big surprise team-wise for you?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Not really. Even the wrong way. I mean, I can't look at a team and go, I'm absolutely shocked that this team is this record or that record. It seems like it's kind of fallen into place.
Romeoville?
Yeah, that's the one.
Maybe a little bit.
That's the one.
Even though they did lose last week to Plainfield Central, they were up after the half going into that game, and then got shut out in the second half. And Plainfield Central, the Wildcats ended up pulling away. But the success Romeoville has had early on, first-year coach, pandemic-shortened season. From what I understand from people, a very limited playbook, both offensively and defensively, just a handful of plays on both sides. And for them to be able to get a couple wins under their belt, where let's not forget, it was just a couple years ago where with Romeoville, it was a program where getting a win, it was a big story for us the next week. Hey, Romeoville finally got a win. Now they're at a point where they've got a new young coach, been around the program for a while, putting a plan in place, getting a couple wins in a pandemic-shortened season. Spartans are headed in the right direction.
Now they're on a pause this week, so they're not going to play. But I really hope they get a week 6 game, and I really hope they get that winning record.
That would be
fantastic.
They wind up
3-2.
That would be absolutely fantastic.
That would be a great momentum builder. I think they're going to have a momentum builder regardless. But if they're able to get back out there week 6, overcome this and get a win, I think they definitely would probably be the story of the spring season.
And I don't know if you've heard anything, but I've heard from a couple people around that program very good freshman class, very good sophomore class. They've got a lot of talent they're very confident about, but they've decided because of how young they are and the way the season was not to move all of those kids up. But there's the chance next year, those kids are going to be juniors and sophomores. We could see a fairly young core for the Spartans that, could be something special here for the next couple of years.
And honestly, if you're Justin with that program, that's kind of the way to go about it. You want to be able to get those more talented younger kids some experience, but you don't want to bring them all up at once. You want to be able to kind of work those numbers a little bit. And I definitely think they're on the right track. So again, kudos to the Romeoville Spartans. Evan, that's probably the most we've talked about Romeoville. Well, besides when we had Justin Travato on, but besides that, the most we've talked about Romeoville in a while, and it's good to do, no doubt.
Absolutely.
All right, we're going to step aside and take a break. We will go back out to the phone lines. We will be joined by the Soucie, Steve Soucie from the Joliet Herald News, and of course from Friday Night Drive on Shaw Media. You are listening to the Week 5 edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News Talk Sports.
Score big when you order award-winning amazing pizza from Pizza Mia. Find out why customers continuously come back for that one-of-a-kind pizza and amazing chicken. Whether it's their famous thin crust pizza or barbecue ribs, you're sure to be satisfied. Planning a family gathering or event? Pizza Mia has a full catering menu to choose from. Check out one of their locations in New Lenox and Homer Glen. You can see their full menu, and to order online, visit pizzamiaonline.com. That's pizzamiaonline.com.
Keep tools, lawn equipment, and more protected with Suncast storage sheds from Menards. All 11% off. The Tremont 8x10 storage shed features blow-molded resin construction and steel-reinforced double walls for years of durability. All Suncast storage sheds are now 11% off. Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Good through April 17th. Savings are mail-in rebates. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Receive a $5 rebate by trading up any non-contact thermometer toward an Exergen temporal scanner purchased at any retailer. With COVID continuing to spread, nothing matters more than having an accurate thermometer that's backed by more than 80 published peer-reviewed clinical studies, like the Exergen temporal scanner. Even after getting the COVID vaccine, you should be monitoring for fever to make sure you are protected. Keep your family and yourself safe by trading up your non-contact thermometer for an accurate temporal scanner and a $5 rebate from Exergen, where accuracy matters. Details at Exergen.com.
ILIN focus.com. 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 ILIN focus.com.
It's a high school football season unlike any other we've experienced. The cold, crisp autumn nights have given way to the unpredictable spring weather here in the Joliet area. But regardless of when high school football is played here in Will County, we know that the passion, the hunger, and the excitement is there. Through COVID, through the lockdown, through remote learning, the wait is over. High school football is back.
And Friday night, 7 o'clock, Joliet Memorial Stadium, DePaul at Joliet Catholic. Hear it live on WJOL, WJOL.com, and on your smart speaker.
It is sure looking like it's time to have a lot of fun outside, but if you're not feeling the fun inside, it's time for Quizell lighting products at Light Source Lighting. And there's not a lot of fun in games or help at the big box store either. So it's time to bring your world to light for reading, warming your rooms, and upgrading your home like no other decorating change can. Come see our Quizell collection. Touch them, use them, see them in comparison to other brands, and imagine them in your home. And we guarantee you will have a blast and see the light. Lighting sets all of the good moods in our homes and highlights the beauty of your decor in a way that nothing else can. Our designers will give you a personal tour of all of our lighting choices. Have some fun with the new stunning designs and classic choices from Quizell. They're here today and every day. Browse Light Source Lighting with a friend. Come on your lunch hour or after work. Visit our 2 convenient locations in Plainfield and Plano, and check us out at lightsourcelighting.com before your shopping visit.
High school football on 1340 WJOL.
And we're back. The Week 5 spring edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL. Will County's News Talk Sports. Edgy Tim along with Evan Bredesen, who's co-hosting and spinning the dials. Again, Coach Joe, unfortunately, in the middle of an island vacation this week. So again, congrats to Coach Joe and his wife Deb, who I'm sure are enjoying themselves on a wonderful island vacation this week. So hopefully Coach Joe will be back with us next week. But you know how Coach Joe is, Evan. He could be here. He could probably be taking another week on that extensive vacation. So always good to see Coach Joe getting out there and, you know, just enjoying life as it goes.
Yeah, like he doesn't enjoy life enough. As
Again, we'll hopefully have Coach Joe here next week. In the meantime, we're going to go out to the phone lines, and joining us is, well, he's my good friend, and his world is about as probably goofy and screwed up as mine has been over the last handful of weeks. He is the sports editor of your Joliet Herald News, as well as a major contributor to the Friday Night Drive on Shaw Media. You know him, you love him, the man, the myth, the legend, Steve Soucie. Good evening, sir.
Hello, sir. How are we doing this evening?
Well, we're doing fine. I appreciate you taking time. I think this is probably as close to being a travel agent than I think I ever would become in my life. You kind of feeling the same lately?
It's been something. I mean, we were joking a couple of days ago. I felt like Chuck Woolery there for a while, and I wasn't doing a really good job of making a lot of connections.
No.
But it's been so strange. I expected it to be strange, but I don't know if I expected it to be, the strange the way that it has been strange. I knew there would be games canceled, and I knew there'd be some dancing around with scheduling, but
yep.
It just seems even a little weirder than I even imagined that it would be.
And getting weirder by the week. And now we're to the point where, and this is where I am just, my leading indicator is telling me the next week or so is going to be a disaster on a lot of different levels. Just meaning the fact that you're getting the calls, I'm getting the calls. At this point, I'm surprised they don't conference us in, but where schools are, quote unquote, looking for games, but they officially aren't looking for games.
Yeah, it's been an interesting dance. I mean, that there's schools out there that are maybe trying to be a little bit too picky about what they're going to be able to get in this situation. And let's be honest, if you find a team that's willing to play right now, sign them up and strap it up and go, because hand picking what you're going to get here. I mean, some of these schools are being more picky than they would be in a non-conference in their regular season. I mean, guys, the window is closing quickly here. And if you don't act quickly, you might get locked out and not get a game at all. So that's what we've figured out here. And you're right. I think it's getting worse. I mean, some of it is based on, just some conferences choosing to shorten up the season a little bit on the back end, but I've already got 53 teams right now that are not playing this week for whatever reason. So
how many was that? I'm sorry, 53?
53 right now.
That's a lot.
And for whatever reason, and that number's higher than it's been for any other week this year already.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are another 15 to 20 out there right now that are either contemplating it or have already canceled, and I don't know about it yet.
So what's been intriguing and really interesting about all of this is certainly COVID related. I think it's pretty fair though, Steve, to say a lot of these aren't necessarily COVID related. I think the combination of COVID issues and contact tracing certainly are a huge part of it. We've got some programs that also are way down in numbers, and they're running out of kids. That's going on as well.
Yeah, and it's something that I've noticed on sidelines. There's a lot less traffic in some situations than I'm used to on there, which is a bad sign. You're right. I mean, some of these are straight COVID cancellations. Some of these are, respites from a situation that could get real bad and real quickly if we aren't careful. So, it's a discouraging sign. I knew some of this was going to happen. Yep. I mean, I think we all did. We saw some of it before the season even started, with some programs just electing to opt out. I actually thought there'd be more of that. But now we're starting to see the ones that decided to roll the dice with relatively small program numbers kind of hitting a wall here as we get close to the end, where it's just a couple injuries and you're in dire straits. So an unfortunate sign, one that I hope doesn't carry over fall, but you and I have talked about this before. You know, sometimes when that snowball rolls down the hill, it's hard to push it back up. And I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but you never know.
On the field, and again, you've been out there every Friday and Saturday, and you're out there seeing the Will County area. I've been all over the state, and I'm going to continue. I'm going to go up to Rockford on Saturday. Just your thoughts and observation on the actual play on the field. It's been, I don't know, from my standpoint, Steve, it's been probably as consistent as the scheduling has been. It's been all over the place.
You know, I've seen some, like, I would agree with that. I think that's a fair assessment. I've seen some things that that have really popped me, and I've been like, wow, that's pretty impressive. And then I've seen some other things where it's just been, it's been discouraging. It's been one of those things where I just feel like, the whole season, the way we were kind of, I don't want to say pushed into it, but the preparation for it was different.
Yeah. Yep.
And it shows. I mean, and sometimes you got games where, coaches always talk about how much they need that prep time. When we've got games that are changing around and opponents that are changing around, you're seeing that, that all phases of it, that we're not quite prepared for some of the things that, are going into it. I know everybody's happy that we get the opportunity to play, but, sometimes the product is not what we're used to. And I think everybody at all levels has kind of had to get used to that. It's just, nothing about this has been perfectly ideal. But I think everybody would agree. Nobody was expecting it to be perfectly ideal either.
No. And let's face it, most of us went into this kicking and screaming about no postseason. And there are still many, as you well know, sir, out there still whining and moaning and complaining about postseason. And I totally get it, because once the season started, I got ramped up in that mode. You got ramped up in that mode. Hey, we're back. But the more you see and the more you see how all this shakes out and what's going on, whether the COVID numbers are increasing and again, that's just a total opposite political football. I'm not even going anywhere near. But all I know is that the further this goes along and you see the combination of injuries and teams shutting down, the more I think, boy, I'm glad we're only having a 6-week season.
Yeah. I mean, I was just kind of looking at it now. I think to myself, what if we were? I mean, what if we were trying to attempt some sort of postseason here? I mean, what would have the bracket looked like? I mean, we would have had some incidents where we would have had teams forfeiting and moving through the brackets, without playing a game, and there would have been other teams that would have had to go through 4 games. It just logistically, just based on what we've seen so far, I don't think it would have been. It would have been such a slippery slope that I think we would have all been feeling like completely exhausted by the end of it, with all the machinations we would have had to go through.
From the local area, the Will County area, the WJOL listening area, Evan and I were throwing it around a little while ago. Not a ton of real surprises. I guess, Steve, I would say the two that kind of stand out to me would certainly be Lincoln Way West being undefeated. Not that wasn't a possibility, but just the fact that Luke Lokank is taking that program and they continue to move forward as a football program and make real positives. And that win over HF, I don't care what level HF is at this year. That's a big win for Luke in that program. And then the other, I think, is Romeoville. And I was really bummed to see that Romeoville had to be on pause this week. And we were just mentioning, Evan and I, man, I hope they're able to play week 6 and maybe wind up with that 3-2 record overall. I think maybe those are the two. Any that come to the top of the head for you?
I think I'm kind of on the same page with you. I know that, that speaking of Romeoville specifically, I mean, obvious strides have been made there because, I mean, I've only seen them once over the past couple of years. I didn't get the chance to see them this year, but clear that they've made some huge strides just to make themselves, competitive games, because to be frank, they hadn't been for, several years. So huge strides, even though this is a short season, like you said, hopefully they can get back out there in week 6 and take a crack at finishing above 500, which would be a huge accomplishment for that program. Even if it doesn't happen, even if that game doesn't happen, clear strides in the right direction. So great for them. And and you're right. I agree with Lincoln Way West too. It's one of those things that you look at that schedule before the season started. You could see that as a possibility. But I would have thought that Homewood might have been a little bit too much for them. Did a nice job, just all around. When I come into this season, I felt like they had lost a lot of guys to graduation. I didn't really know exactly what they had, but they've done a nice job of melding that stuff together there, especially with. And I know the former head coach is still with the program, but anytime you can have a first-year coach, step out and do what Luke has done, it's pretty impressive, and a tip of the cap is well deserved.
And are you enjoying rolling from one sport to the next while the seasons are ongoing at the same time? Is that fun for you?
No, not so much. I mean, that's this has been like it was funny this morning. I was going through some stuff that I had to get done, and I discovered that I had actually completed something that I did not think that I had completed. And the wave of relief that came over me was pretty impressive, because it's just there's so many irons like flying around right now that like I'm missing stuff. I know that I'm one person, so I hope that people will forgive me.
Welcome to my world, pal.
It's just one of those things. It's been chaotic. There's no way you could have prepared for this because none of us have ever done this before. So it's been nuts. It's like I'm thinking about what's going to happen on Friday night in football, and there are baseball games going on all over the place.
And softball games tonight, tomorrow.
It's so weird. It's so hard to wrap your head around, because I mean, you're just used to what the seasons usually are, and it's just this is not usual. So I've struggled with making the transition here, and I'm sure there are more struggles to come over the next couple of weeks while we I guess finish this up.
Well, before I cut you loose, and again, I always appreciate you taking time. We had our guy Bob, our regular caller Bob, called in and was asking about potential playoff pairings and things of that nature. Now I know you're always working on something with Friday Night Drive, and I didn't want to tip anything off. I know that you've got some things up your sleeve. Maybe what can the fans expect over the next few weeks, or is there any kind of teaser you can give us what you guys might be working on?
I mean, I'm sure that people that know that, your and I relationship, why I'm usually here.
Yes.
I'm not discussing that because I'm not doing that.
Okay.
I'll just use the word, I'm not doing that now, and we'll leave it at that.
Fair enough.
I'm just going to use the word, I'm not doing it right this minute. That doesn't mean I'm not going to be doing it.
Fair enough. That's more than we can ask for. By the way, did you watch that White Sox game last night?
Nah.
Tell you what, though, for nine innings, that was terrific baseball.
It was, but is it just me, or is this extra inning scenario like?
Yeah, it's getting old.
Are we the worst at it though?
Yes,
like
100%.
When we go to extra innings, are we team number 30 in Major League Baseball?
We have to be
when it comes to how to deal with the extra inning scenario, because it sure seemed like it. Like as soon as the catcher's interference happened, I almost shut the TV off, because I'm like, here we go.
So
another weird loss and ending.
Okay, I didn't mean to turn this into Sox talk, but Evan's not here. He just walked back in. First of all, how many more times is Grandal going to interfere this year? That's number one. Number, yeah, at least. And then number two, I think we need to change that runner on second rule. We need to make it a runner on second, but the fattest guy on your bench. So it could either be a bench coach, or in the case of the White Sox, your me Mercedes would be the automatic pinch runner in the top of the 10th.
No, let's low level.
I know it's fat shaming, but it's fun.
Make that happen, because I just as soon as we get to extra innings, I'm like, yeah, but hopefully we can get that straightened out and figure out how to catch pop flies before.
I was just gonna say I was confused watching the White Sox game, because I didn't know that a Chicago baseball team, that the bat could actually hit the baseball and put it into play.
Yeah,
I was so confused by that concept of, you can actually put the ball into play, and players are allowed to run the bases like that. I saw that and I was like, wait, that's how you play the game of baseball? It's been very illuminating watching other teams play this year.
Poor Evan. Evan and the Cub fans have their own hell they're going through right now, so we won't get into that. Steve, you're the best. Appreciate you. Stay healthy, my friend, and I'll run into you sooner rather than later.
All right, thanks, buddy. Talk to you soon.
All right, Steve Soucie joining us from the Joliet Herald News, and again, just a longtime friend of mine and the show, and always glad to have him here. Just a guy that, and again, Evan, as I told you, and I'll tell the fans, if it wasn't for his work and what he does behind the scenes, I mean, I don't know where else you would go to try to find results and try to get records and schedules and changes. It's amazing the amount of work he does as part of his job with Shaw.
Well, and here's the thing. I've seen some people asking. They've been asking it on your message board as well. This IHSA not updating conference standings and scores, is this just because of the spring season? Or is this a permanent change moving forward?
Well, I'll try to book Matt Troja for next week. See, I don't think he'll come on.
There's going to be a lot of scrambling. Yeah, interesting. I can't get a hold of anyone either.
No, I'll be fair. Matt's great. I'll never have a problem with Matt Troja, but I've got to imagine it's something that they probably don't want to talk about. And they've got their spring season started, so I'm sure that's a focus. But yeah, there's definitely some questions that need to be answered when we get into the offseason. But again, their offseason isn't going to happen until the end of June because of the spring sports. So
no, they're in a situation where they both were involved in a sprint and a marathon simultaneously.
Yep. All right, we're going to step aside and take a break. When we come back, we will go back to the phone lines, be joined by Jeremy Cordell, head coach of your Lincoln Way Central Knights. This is the Week 5 Spring Edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News, Talk Sports.
The fresh-baked hometown flavor of Joliet's Milano Bakery is now just a click away when you order online at MilanoBakery.com. Choose from everyday bakery items such as breads, buns, and rolls, as well as Milano's sinfully delicious Italian cookies, kolaczkis, donuts, Danish, coffee cake, muffins, strudels, specialty cakes, cannoli, and more. Simply place your order at MilanoBakery.com and either pick it up at Milano's retail store at 433 South Chicago Street in Joliet or have it delivered by Grubhub. Milano's retail store is open Monday through Friday from 5:30 a.m. to 1 p.m., Saturday from 6 a.m. till noon, and Sunday from 7 a.m. till 11 a.m. You can even browse online and call in your order at 815-727-2253 for touchless curbside delivery. The fresh-baked hometown flavor of Joliet's Milano Bakery is now just a click away when you order online at MilanoBakery.com.
It's Mattress Firm's semi-annual sale, where you can save up to $300 on our top-rated brands like Sealy and Sleepy's. Plus, get a free adjustable base when you spend $6.99 on Sealy. Or buy Tempur-Pedic and get a $300 instant gift good towards sleep accessories. Shop Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, and more with our sleep experts today to find your best sleep. Only at Mattress Firm. Offer valid with qualifying purchase. Restrictions apply. Valid at participating locations only. For offer details, visit mattressfirm.com/sale.
Hi, this is Joe Cordell with the law firm Cordell and Cordell. When the prospect of divorce becomes a reality, you need a partner that you can count on. If you're a man in this situation, consider contacting Cordell and Cordell. We've helped men navigate complex legal matters for 30 years.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Chicagoland area attorneys online at CordellCordell.com. 4320 Winfield Road, Suite 200, Warrenville, Illinois, 60555.
Tune in to 1340 WJOL every Tuesday morning at 9:30 for Life with Vitality, hosted by local weight loss and wellness expert Davis Jaspers from Vitalife of New Lenox. Life with Vitality covers health topics related to weight and diet. Learn more about your body, the science behind weight loss, and how the Vitalife program can help you lose 20 to 40 pounds in 40 days. Listen to Davis Jaspers on Life with Vitality on 1340 WJOL every Tuesday at 9:30. And learn about the Vitalife weight loss program at VitalifeWeightLoss.com.
Life is full of surprises, some good, some not so good. That's why State Farm agent John Wright is here with good neighbor service and great rates for everyone. Yep, that's right. State Farm agent John Wright can give you great rates and great service. That's why he was one of a few selected as the best insurance agents in Will County by the Reader's Choice again in 2020. When you want the real deal, call John Wright in Joliet today.
I'm Dr. Baker, an ER physician. If you're having leg pain, swelling, or redness, but haven't talked to your doctor yet, don't wait. This could be deep vein thrombosis, a blood clot which could travel to your lungs and lead to a pulmonary embolism, which could cause chest pain or discomfort or difficulty breathing and be deadly. Your symptoms could mean something serious, so don't wait. Talk to a doctor right away, by phone, online, or in person.
Brought to you by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Money Talks with 1340 WJOL. You could win $1,000 a day. Now, here's this hour's keyword.
Keyword this hour is song, S-O-N-G, song. Take that word to WJOL.com right this second. Enter it for your chance to win $1,000. Money Talks from 1340 WJOL, Will County's News Talk Sports and Alpha Media USA.
Your official home for Joliet and Will County sports is 1340 WJOL.
Are we going live to Coach Joe on the tropical island? Our friend Coach Joe out on his island vacation, wishing him the best. I wonder what island he went to. Blue? Stony? Oh, we'll see. Well, hopefully someday he'll be back. Come on, Evan. It wasn't that funny. Might be the oldest joke in the book, but yeah, it works for another generation.
It's funny to me.
Okay, hey, that's all that really counts. No one else is laughing, but that's okay. Welcome back to the Week 5 Spring Edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News Talk Sports. And I mentioned earlier in the show, I felt kind of like a travel agent. And I think the next guy we're going to bring on the phone line kind of feels a little bit like a travel agent as well. His name is Jeremy Cordell. And besides trying to book travel and passage for his team, he also happens to coach football. Jeremy, welcome aboard.
I liked your joke.
Okay, two people like my joke. My friend, welcome to the spring edition of Pigskin Preview. And again, as you well know, if this has not been the weirdest year in memory, I don't think there will ever be another one like this.
I feel like you and I have done 10 of these since last March.
I know.
And that might be the truth.
I know.
It's crazy. Well, thanks for having me on.
So let's get into this. So we find out late last week, and again, knew that you were looking for a game. Well, gosh darn it, you found a game, and you found a good game. I mean, you never know what you're going to get in some of these matchups, but you played a really good Plainfield North team. You came away with an impressive win. Just walk us through the game. Again, just from your perspective, from a coaching perspective, how unnerving, or maybe not unnerving, is it finding out 48 hours who you're going to play?
Yeah, not even. It's actually 24.
Okay.
So how the whole story went down, we found out late Tuesday that we weren't going to be able to play our week 4 opponent. And obviously we started scrambling and you see all the coaching threads and, we're all bouncing stuff off of you guys and the media. And then finally, we realized that Plainfield North was open as well. So we all reached out to each other and everybody agreed. But that didn't come through really officially till about 10 o'clock on Thursday morning. So, I mean, you're literally talking with a little matter over 24 hours to prepare for an opponent, which is completely unprecedented at any level, whether it's an NFL level, college level, high school, youth, it just doesn't happen. And chances are it could never happen again. So, just the fact that our kids were completely fired up, as I know Plainfield North's kids were too as well. They were just completely fired up, and we just flipped the script. Usually on Thursday we do a game simulation. It's pretty fast paced, and it's still a pretty good practice. It's not just like a glorified walkthrough, but we had to completely flip the script, and we actually had a practice on Thursday. Yeah. And so we came out and we prepared for what we knew and what we thought that we could do and how we could attack that. But the reality is, from a football standpoint, you can't revamp a complete game plan or just redo the wheel in a matter of 24 hours. So, we kept a lot of the same things that we had kind of been repping over the week, and then made some tweaks. And our kids it is all on our kids, Tim. They completely bought in. They packed every minute of study that they could, and they were so well prepared. And so it told when we came out on the field, and we jumped up on them pretty fast, and I got to hand it to them. I think they're a good football team, and they came out ready to go too. But just more, like I said, kudos to our kids. They really prepared. They were excited, and they did a really nice job.
And I got to imagine too, I mean, there's only so much you really can't prepare for. And I think you've probably had to rely more on your game. Let's go out and play our game, see what happens.
Yeah, correct. And there's no doubt about it. I mean, I would say that's probably about 85% of what it was. And then you look for the things that you can do, and how you would game plan for an opponent, but just in a very, very short amount of time. And our guys did that. And so it was exciting to do it at home. I was glad we didn't lose another home game. And our fans were great, and your parents and everything. So it was a really good night.
So we're just checking in. We do have a game this week, correct?
Yes, sir. As of
I gotta ask
at 6:51 p.m.
There you go. And again, I have you playing at Stag, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So as of now, you have a game, and I hate being that guy, and I hate saying it that way, but you really have to. Now, we made it known a couple of times on the radio, and by the way, we're only going to charge you half the ad rate, so you're welcome.
Okay.
That you are looking for a Week 6 game. Are you still looking for a Week 6 game?
We are. We found out Monday that we would not have our Week 6 opponent, so this has been another 2-day saga. Like you have kind of mentioned, a lot of possibilities, but nothing in stone.
Yeah.
And so the sad part is it's really consumed the last two days of just constantly reaching out and networking and communicating and everything else. And just, and everything's a possibility. And so that's the frustrating part. And, our kids, our coaches, we just all want to get it secured and be ready to go. And the reality is we have 8 days left, and we want to make sure that it's a great experience for everybody, and that you have a little time to prepare, and you go out and finish the job.
And it's amazing, Coach, how you still have, well, what do you know about them? What do you know about them? It's like, look, the way things are going right now, if you get someone that has a game, just book it. It's like buying concert tickets in the old days. If you're in line and I don't care where I'm sitting, just give me 2 tickets. Just get me in the door and get me a game and play. And it's been amazing. Coach, it's going to be one heck of a book I write someday. And I think this will be a chapter or 2. I don't think there's any doubt.
There's no doubt. The next week and a half is going to be super interesting.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've reached out to a ton of people, and, it's the waiting game right now. And so, for our kids, I really hope that something comes through quick. I have full confidence. I think we'll have something, but obviously I'd like that sooner than later.
Yeah, there's no doubt. So you get the win over Plainfield North. You get you back to even. You're at 2-2. You're going in the Stag this week. I definitely cannot see why the Knights can't finish with a 4-2 record here.
Yeah, that's the plan. Everybody knows, obviously, the first half of our schedule, pretty tough, and our conference is no joke by any means. And so, played some 3 quality opponents, and now in the second half here, we played a good Plainfield North team, playing a Stag team that's battling, and who knows in week 6. But I love the fact that this group here's the most important thing, Tim, is that this group from last March until now, they have completely bought in, and they have stuck to the plan, and they just want to finish. And I have so much respect for them. I love this group tremendously. And I know that a lot of coaches can say, "Oh, I love this group," but I truly do. I really love this group. They're a great bunch of kids. Not kids. I mean, they're young men. And I'm going to miss them. I mean, quite frankly, it was too short of a ride. Every day when I go out to practice, it's an absolute blast. They work hard, they have fun, and that's what you want. I mean, that's the marks of a really good team.
Is it getting? Are you getting to the point with the team where? And again, I think a lot of teams could probably say they're in the same boat. Where you mentioned the early schedule, and let's face it, everyone has talked about the limited amount of time you guys truly had to prepare. is it getting to the point where maybe you're starting to feel that your team is getting into that rhythm and you're almost getting back, and I hate using the word normalcy, but somewhat of a normalcy, maybe offense, things are clicking, defensively, things are clicking, things are picking up, just speed wise and just more fluid with everything on both sides.
Yeah, it feels like the second half of season. I mean, that's what it feels like. And it feels like, you know, in the momentum swing that we have, it feels like we're getting ready for the playoffs. That's what it feels like. And unfortunately, the other part of it is like the reality is going to be shut down in 8 days.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's the reality. Yeah. And so that's the super weird part about it. And, you know, I just like went up to one of my kids today and just put my arm around him. Is like in the middle of a transition. I'm like, man, I'm going to miss you. Like this is tough. We're going to enjoy these last 8 days and we're playing good football and we're having fun, but you know, I want you to know I'm going to miss you. And so it's just, that's the part that's frustrating, is that I know that if we had a postseason, or if you know, in a perfect world, if we could play for a couple more weeks, I think we'd do really well.
Are there takeaways from the spring season? I mean, in some ways, yes, some ways, no. I just, you know, I don't know if it's something that you can, I mean, I'm hoping from an underclassman standpoint, you can maybe build on some things you've seen, but otherwise, are there real takeaways, or do you almost kind of scrap this season once the seniors are done and they graduate and really kind of just lock into what's coming ahead? How do you handle it?
Are you talking currently or just kind of foreshadowing?
Yeah, I'm just talking overall picture standpoint. I mean, you know, again, there's so many life lessons that have come because of this, and certainly from your end as well. But I mean, you know, are there things that you saw that, you know, hey, you know what, we can really do this and really do that? I would imagine there's always something you can learn and build from, even in this
from a football,
weird deal.
From a football standpoint, you learn about your kids. You learn about, hey, what works in our system. Tim, it's no different, honestly, than a fall season. It's just it's shortened, and that's what I've found. And you know, we've learned a lot, and our kids have treated it no different. We've progressed like we would in a fall season. We're still watching the same amount of film. Nothing's changed. So the garbage about, you know, if anybody throws you a spring ball or this or that, and not to our kids, it's not.
Yeah.
You know, it's important. This is the season that they didn't get to play in the fall. Now it just happens to be short. They don't look at it that way. So I think that's why they're so eager just to finish the job here. And like I said, I have so much respect to them for that. I mean, we've learned about our kids. We've learned about our seniors who have great character and just wanted to have one last ride. We've learned about juniors that we know will be able to count on in the fall. You know, obviously you get a great look at your lower levels and what they can do. And so I think there's a ton of benefits, and most importantly, the kids got to play.
Jeremy, I appreciate it, man. Best of luck. Go get Stag, and we'll keep our fingers crossed. Hope you get that Week 6 game. And again, just best of luck, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, and just keep me posted.
All right, Jeremy Cordell from Lincoln Way Central. If you're a high school out there looking for a Week 6 game, he's a guy that is looking for one. You have been listening to the Week 5 spring edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL. Hour number 1 in the books. We'll be back. Don't go away. Hour 2 coming soon.
From the Abri Credit Union Studio, this is Will County's News Talk Sports, WJOL, Joliet.
Official rules for 1340 WJOL. No purchases necessary. All contestants must be 18 years of age or older to participate, unless specified in contest rules. An individual may win an ongoing contest every 30 days per household. From WJOL in Crest Hill. All state, local, and federal and other taxes or other fees for prizes awarded are the sole responsibility of the winner. Prizes valued over $500 will be issued an IRS Form 1099 to report their winnings. All prizes are awarded as is. All entrants and winners agree that the station, Alpha Media LLC, and their affiliates shall have no liability and should be held blameless for any injury, misfortune, or damage to either persons or property insured by entering, participating in, winning, or losing any contest by use or non-use of any prize received. All entrants and winners agree the station may broadcast or publish their name, city of residence, photo, videotape, film, or any other likeness, including their voice, recorded or live, for any reason the station deems necessary, without compensation. The radio station reserves the right to change the rules for any contest at any time without notice, and limit the amount of times an individual may enter a contest or drawing. The radio station will not be held responsible for busy lines, bad connections, disconnections, computer malfunctions, lost, late, or misdirected email, faxes, or any other circumstances. Get a full list of contest rules at WJOL.com.
From the Abri Credit Union Studio, this is Will County's News Talk Sports, WJOL, Joliet.
From ABC News,
I'm Daria Albinger. A fourth night of protest is expected in a Minnesota community over the police-involved shooting of a black man. ABC's Alex Stone is there.
Again tonight, with the crowd growing here, a curfew is being put into place 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. in Brooklyn Center. Last night, when 10 p.m. hit, police moved in quickly using gas irritants and firing rubber pellets. They cleared out the area, forcing people to leave. The city saying it's working to get relief to those who live in apartments around here. They've been dealing with gas being fired off every night.
Kim Potter, the former officer who killed Dante Wright, has been charged with second-degree manslaughter. A CDC advisory panel pressing pause on Johnson & Johnson's COVID-19 vaccine a little longer. They want more data on a handful of blood clots in people who got the one-dose vaccine.
The holdup on using the Johnson & Johnson vaccine has had a huge impact on 7,000 locations where it was the only shot they were giving. 1 out of every 4 vaccine locations in America was only using Johnson & Johnson.
ABC Steve Osunsami. President Biden's troop withdrawal plans for Afghanistan getting pushback from some Republicans.
Well, President Biden says a 20-year war must end. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham says now's not the time to leave.
We lose that insurance policy against another 9/11. We lose listening post in the backyard of some of the most radical movements in the world.
President Biden saying the threat to the U.S. is no longer centered in Afghanistan and U.S. troops will come home. Andy Field, ABC News, Washington.
A Texas man who drove a pickup involved in a deadly head-on crash has been indicted. The charges against Sebastian Tovar include transporting migrants illegally, resulting in death. The 8 people in the truck were all killed. We welcome a new member tonight to the ABC News family, our new president, Kimberly Godwin. She's the first Black woman to lead a broadcast network's news division. You're listening to ABC News.
How clean is your nose? Most airborne germs and allergens invade through the nose, your body's air filter. It's first line of defense. You wash your hands and brush your teeth, but what about your nose? Did you know there's an easy way to keep your nose clean and help your body protect itself? It's called Navage Nasal Care. Navage uses powered suction to clean your nose by flushing out pollen, mucus, bacteria, and viruses. Millions use Navage for fast, all-natural relief from sinus congestion and allergies, and to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier without drugs. Navage is easy to use, affordable, and it comes with an absolute guarantee of satisfaction. And 50,000 independent online reviews averaging 4.7 stars show just how much people love their Navage. You wash your hands and brush your teeth every day. Now you can clean your nose and help protect your health with Navage. At Navage.com, CVS, Walgreens, Bed Bath & Beyond, Target, and Rite Aid. Navage. N-A-V-A-G-E. Make good nasal hygiene your new normal with Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
China and other countries pose the largest threat to the U.S., not terrorist groups, according to a national intelligence assessment published ahead of a Senate hearing.
China increasingly is a near-peer competitor, challenging the United States in multiple areas, while pushing to revise global norms in ways that favor the authoritarian Chinese system.
Director of National Intelligence Avril Haines says Russia is also leading the way in disinformation, wielding its power to sway U.S. interests. Haines says domestically, the most worrisome threat from extremists are those fueled by ideology. Denmark has permanently ended use of AstraZeneca's COVID-19 vaccine.
The head of the Danish health authorities, Soren Brostrøm, explaining, quote, based on the scientific findings, our overall assessment is there is a real risk of severe side effects associated with using COVID-19 vaccine from AstraZeneca. We have therefore decided to remove the vaccine from our vaccination program, end quote. It was on March 11 that Denmark temporarily suspended use of AstraZeneca's COVID-19 vaccine over fears of blood clots. EU regulators have insisted that the benefits of the vaccine far outweigh the risks. Inez de la Quatera, ABC News, Paris.
The governor of Washington, Jay Inslee, has signed a bill that will start the process to honor the late Billy Frank Jr. with a statue at the U.S. Capitol. The Nisqually tribe member championed treaty rights and environmental protections. This is ABC News.
Millions are tuning into Newsmax TV and going to Newsmax.com for real news. Now, Newsmax is asking if you approve of Joe Biden, his policies, and trillions in spending. And did President Trump do a better job? Vote in the Newsmax poll. Just text the word FISH to 39747. That's FISH to 39747. Let us know who you like better, Trump or Biden. Vote in the Newsmax poll. Text FISH to 39747. That's FISH to 39747. And watch Newsmax today.
Daria Albinger, ABC News.
It's all about the nose. It's your air filter, the first line of defense against bacteria and viruses. If too many germs get stuck in your nose, guess what? You get sick. That's why it's so important to keep your nose clean, just like washing your hands. Now there's a better way to keep your nose clean and help your body protect itself. It's called Navage Nasal Care. Navage uses powered suction to flush out allergens, mucus, bacteria, and viruses. At Navage.com, CVS, Walgreens, Bed Bath, Target, and Rite Aid. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E.
Summer is almost here, and that means backyard grill outs. And no backyard grill out is complete without Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com and order the mouthwatering Let's Go Grill package today. Enter keyword RARE in the search bar to save over 45%. Plus, you'll get the tasty bonus of 12 ultra juicy Omaha Steaks burgers free. That's almost 4 pounds of free burgers. To top it off, you'll also get $20 off on your first order. Go to omahasteaks.com and enter keyword RARE.
Ensuring peace of mind, expanding business, building strong communities. Realize your financial dreams with Busey Bank. For more than 150 years, Busey's built a foundation of broad financial capabilities, vast knowledge, and close relationships that span generations. You can realize your best future. Busey's right beside you. Member FDIC.
To all you do-it-yourselfers, get ready to welcome Fram into the fam. Because America's #1 oil filter brand now has their own new line of motor oil and fluids. And it's only at Advance and CarQuest Auto Parts. Stop into Advance and choose from 4 new Fram oil change bundles starting at just $20.99. They have the oil and filters you need to keep your engine running stronger, longer. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. See store for details.
Are you struggling to keep up with your kids, your finances, your insurance, your life? Then let State Farm agent Michelle Kerfin in Homer Glen help you simplify and get to a better state. Because with Michelle Kerfin handling your auto, home, and life insurance, you'll have more time to handle everything else and more money too. Because adding State Farm policies can earn discounts that could add up to 40% and actually help you get ahead. Call State Farm agent Michelle Kerfin in Homer Glen and get to a better state with State Farm. Find Michelle online at insurewithmichelle.com.
Your official home for Joliet and Will County sports is 1340 WJOL.
And welcome back. It is hour number 2 of the Week 5 Spring edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News Talk Sports. EDGYTIM, your host, along with Evan Bredesen. We are hoping to eventually get Evan's camera working again, or maybe he just doesn't want to be on camera. It's totally cool. Unfortunately, Coach Joe not here with us this evening. Evan, as you are well aware, Coach Joe is celebrating a very special event.
He is indeed celebrating a very special event. He's actually not here. We weren't going to tell people, but he's not here. He was on a game show earlier in the week, and he did end up winning one of the fabulous prizes. I actually have a clip here, so we'll
Let's
see
hear it.
where Joe ended up ditching out on the show this week to go vacation.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, let me get this queued up here. I'm a professional. I know how this stuff works.
It's okay. I spelled Delaware wrong in the ticker. So.
A trip to Delaware.
So Joe is not here this evening with us, unfortunately. He is enjoying a lovely honeymoon trip that he won to Delaware. Him and Deb are seeing the sights and sounds of lovely Delaware.
The only reason Joe's in Delaware and not Yugoslavia is I couldn't find any old clips of Let's Make a Deal.
So again, we hope to have Coach Joe back from Delaware next week to join us on the show. But, well, we're kind of keeping it in the family. We're going to bring in Brett Coy from Lemont, who, boy, Coach Coy could tell us some really good Coach Joe stories, I'm sure.
Stories.
Do you have any of those?
Oh, I don't know if I'd be able to say any of them on the air. That's the problem. That's the problem.
You should know. No one listens to us by now. You could say it on the air.
Oh, I know a little better than that.
I know.
Joe's always been good to me too. So that I don't want to put him in a hole here.
I know.
Speaking of times in the past, he may bring some things up on me then too. So yeah.
Well, he is in Delaware with his wife celebrating their anniversary, so I think you'll be
fantastic.
okay. I think you'll be okay.
That's fantastic.
Appreciate you taking time. Been trying to connect with you for a few weeks here, and glad to finally get you in. Wow, you've been through heck and back during this. It has not been a fun spring for you, has it?
Oh, to say the least. To say the least. Yeah, it's I'm sure there's a whole bunch of other coaches having pretty similar conversations, but yeah, it's been rather stressful, no doubt. So let alone the flip flop to the spring being so odd too.
Yeah, I know. So the strangest part of it was the reason you were shut down was, I believe, and again, Joe and I talked about this on the air. It was actually a contact tracing incident with a referee that ended up shutting you and TF North down. Am I correct?
Correct.
Wow. So that was what, a week? You ended up missing a week?
It was 10 days. Okay. It was 10 days. So, a little bit over a week. And, yeah, it's, not that anything's going to settle on you well, but, when it's a kid here, you sort of, you know what I mean? You sort of look at it and say, well, that's,
right.
You did everything right, but you know what I mean? Those things sometimes happen when it's an official, and you obviously don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but when it's an official, you just sort of, you really do expect not to have to deal with those things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, it didn't settle, it didn't settle well with any of us. And, obviously you hope that individual well, just like we always all do, but, it definitely was tough, for anybody taking 10 days off, but let alone, with our current situation, that made it pretty difficult too.
So then you found yourself in search of a game, and boy, you found a nice game.
It's, be honest with you, it's really good for us.
Yeah.
It just, we're at that stage where we're a real young football team, and, the seniors we got, I think be honest with you, I think the kids that we have there like the challenge. And without a doubt, it's going to be good for our younger kids because we need that competition. And, we think the next couple of years, we got two back really good classes that, we feel we can make a run for things. And if you're going to do that, you need those big games. Yep. And, fortunately we're going to have one of those this Friday, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah. Again, just to clarify that Bret and the Indians are going to play at Bolingbrook on Friday at 6:00. And again, it's as you mentioned, and it's funny because I talked to John Ivel a little bit about it, and he's like, look, we used to play Lemont all the time. You guys would play JV games against each other all the time. So John's like,
absolutely.
We know those guys well. They would come over every summer in 7-on-7 and lineman challenges. He's like, so, when we were looking for a game in RAD, it was one of the first contacts they got was from John Young and said, hey, let's do this. And there was no hesitation. And again, I think it's definitely a win-win for both. And let's face it, Bret, it's a nice local angle and close trip for both of you. And again, I think it'll be some interesting football for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, we're, like I said, we're looking forward to the challenge, no doubt. And, I still think we're a pretty good football team. So I think they're going to get their hands full with us too.
What was the reaction from the team coach when you told them who they were going to be playing? Because that's not a team, you guys see in conference. It's not a team you'd run into in the postseason. So I imagine the reaction from your team there had to be kind of a level of excitement to play someone who they know they normally would not get a chance to play.
I think they're very excited about it. And kids, one of the things that you continually kept hearing was their field's so cool. We're playing there, right, Coach? And it's funny sometimes how kids, how the things that the kids look at, and they know Bolingbrook's reputation, and obviously they're always talked about highly in the area. So I was pretty proud of our kids, with the excitement of us scheduling them, and it was also pretty interesting too when we were out and about looking. there was kids tweeting or sending, copies of the tweet to me on the phone saying, "Hey, coach, they're open." So, I think when you got a group of kids like that, they're not afraid of, that big competition. I think without a doubt, it makes you smile as a coach.
I got to imagine, again, you're at 2-1 and you've got a game Bolingbrook this week. I assume week 6 we're okay for now.
I sure hope so. I don't want to put that situation on the kids again. And,
I know.
It's a week by week thing, and you know that, and that's TF South, and we'll be home, and that's next thing you know, we've had our senior night bumped already. I sure hope we're not dealing with that situation, but same thing we tell the kids. You control what you can control, and we can control playing this Friday and take advantage of it, and then. When next week approaches, then we're dealing and tackling that.
Well, and again, you mentioned fingers crossed week 6 with TF South. They're having a real nice year.
Absolutely. And I've seen them a couple times, and they'll be a good finish for us. As well as I do with obviously my coach, Tom Pageant's not there anymore, but his brother is, and, they do a nice job with their kids. There's a couple guys back, that played around my time there on the staff that I know are good, solid coaches. So that'll be a really good finisher for us.
Well, and again, and I told Tom and Bob this a long time ago, even as a Meteor, I couldn't hate those guys because they're such class guys and they do such a wonderful job with that program. Seriously. I mean,
you're absolutely right.
I mean, it's above all of that is who they are and how they've done things over there. And it's hard to argue. They've done it the right way and really are in it for the kids.
Well, I definitely don't know Bob like I did or did and do know Tom because I played for him. You know what I mean? Yep. But without a doubt, first class people. And on top of that, they do some really awesome things for their kids over there, not only on the field, but, the other things off the field too. So good people.
You have very successful sports programs at Lemont, not just football, but really across the board. Obviously baseball is fired up now. How have you been able to kind of work in conjunction with, say, baseball and some of the other sports that have just fired up?
Well, it sounds crazy. One of the difficult things, when I got there is, there wasn't a lot of sharing of athletes, and that's something we've worked really hard at. So we got a lot of football kids, a lot of wrestler football kids, and then obviously now baseball football kids. So it's been a challenge, no doubt, and I think everybody will also attest to that. But what's very special about that place is the programs have worked together, and it's sort of funny you bring that up because Coach Stracco and I just sat down today, and we ran into a little bit of a conflict with Friday they were supposed to be playing a baseball game with that tournament going on, and he brings it up to me and. Sure enough, everything piles up, and I say something back, and he shoots me an email and says, "Hey, Brett, let's sit down and talk about it. Let's work it out." Because there's a couple coaches that coach baseball and football, and obviously we have some kids in both. And sure enough, in the afternoon, the two of us sat down and worked out a schedule, and that's what's pretty special about that place is I really do think the coaches do a nice job of working together. It's sort of cool now that we have a lot of kids that we're sharing, which I think is, the way high school sports should be. And things are working out. Doesn't mean that there's going to be conflicts, that there isn't conflicts at times, but when you're able to work those things out, it makes you feel good about the place you're at.
Real quick, before we cut you loose, and again, I always appreciate you taking time for us. We still really don't have any guidance on the fall. Got any feel for what maybe might go down and what we can expect this summer and then going into the fall?
I don't have any feeling whatsoever. The feelers keep going out there on what's, I keep bringing things up to John, our AD, have you heard? Have you heard? When we gonna kick in? And no, I haven't. And, you know, be honest with you, have that quick conversation. And because of all the craziness of playing football in the spring, and like you talked about, all the overlappings of basketball and now baseball, you know, that keeps you sort of preoccupied. But, you know, you have parents asking, hey, coach, you know, do we have a summer schedule out? And you really, you know, it's really impossible to put something together for that, let alone what's going on in the fall. But I hope like crazy, you know, we're back to as close to normal, if not normal, as we can be. But, you know, sort of like the conversation we said, we can't control that now. And, you know, we'll make the best out of the situation when that comes.
All right, my friend. Well, as always, appreciate you taking time and wish you the best of luck on Friday night at Bolingbrook, 6 o'clock kickoff. And boy, I hope I get to see you in person sometime soon.
So absolutely. Well, thanks for having me on, you guys.
All right, Coach Brett Coy from Lemont joining us. And again, the Indians ended up with, I think, a really interesting game against Bolingbrook on Friday.
I think it's incredibly interesting. I think it's incredibly exciting. This is what's happened with the schedule being shifted around is actually something I did not anticipate, which was one of the things we talked about when the schedule was first announced or this season was first announced, was the fact that it was going to be mainly teams in your immediate area. There wasn't going to be a lot of travel. We weren't going to see things or games or matchups that we normally don't see. It was going to be kind of vanilla. And we said, well, that's okay. At least the kids get to play. But now because of COVID, we had to kind of go outside of that. And we're seeing games, not just in our area, but across the entire state. Teams that never would have seen one another before, probably will never see one another again.
Yep.
But they're playing because, as you said, hey, we got an opening. We heard you had an opening. Let's play. You've seen it with Loyola in the Catholic League. Loyola's playing a bunch of different teams from outside the Catholic League, something we would normally not see in our area. Lemont and Bolingbrook playing one another, that game would never happen.
Yeah.
Ever. Not in a normal season, not in the playoffs. They're not in the same conference, but we get to see it now because of the strangeness of the season.
Yep.
And I think that makes it a little more exciting than it would have been had we just gotten some of these more traditional conference matchups.
Yeah, I totally agree. All right, we're going to step aside and take a break. When we come back, we will go back out to the phone lines. Bill Bicker will join us from Plainfield South, and he's had quite a bit to deal with as well during all of this. So we'll get into it with Bill. You're listening to the Week 5 Spring Edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's new sports talk. Of course, Pigskin Preview brought to you every week by State Farm agents Kevin Malloy in New Lenox and John Wright in Joliet, along with Pizza Mia. Visit them at pizzamiaonline.com. That is pizzamiaonline.com. We'll be right back.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hi, this is Joe Cordell with the law firm Cordell and Cordell. When the prospect of divorce becomes a reality, you need a partner that you can count on. If you're a man in this situation, consider contacting Cordell and Cordell. We've helped men navigate complex legal matters for 30 years.
Contact Cordell and Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Chicagoland area attorneys online at CordellCordell.com. 4320 Winfield Road, Suite 200, Warrenville, Illinois, 60555.
Life is full of surprises, some good, some not so good. That's why State Farm agent John Wright is here with good neighbor service and great rates for everyone. Yep, that's right. State Farm agent John Wright can give you great rates and great service. That's why he was one of a few selected as the best insurance agents in Will County by the Reader's Choice again in 2020. When you want the real deal, call John Wright in Joliet today.
Bad decisions limit future options. Make enough bad decisions and you'll destroy your life. Listen to The Flot Line with your host, Rick Hughes, every Sunday morning at 8:30 a.m. here on WJOL. The Flot Line describes a main line of resistance in your soul built on God's Word. Join us every Sunday for 30 minutes of inspiration, motivation, education, all without manipulation. That's The Flot Line with Rick Hughes. Heard every Sunday at 8:30 a.m. on WJOL.
Pigskin Preview with EDGYTIM on 1340 WJOL.
And welcome back. It is the Week 5 Spring Edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's news, talk, and sports. And again, appreciate everyone listening and watching online to the video stream. And by the way, the WJOL softball tournament, the first round games are in the book. So here's who advances to the winner's bracket. Lockport defeated Joliet Catholic 5-2, so the Porters will move on. They will face Lincoln Way West, who defeated Cole City 11-0. So again, Lincoln Way West, another power year this year for the Warriors, no doubt. So it'll be Lockport, Lincoln Way West at 4:15 tomorrow out at Inwood. Then, of course, the other side of the bracket, Lincoln Way, is this Central, Evan? Yeah, Lincoln Way Central defeated Lincoln Way East 1-0 to advance. The Lady Knights will play Joliet West, who beat Minooka 3-0. So your semifinals tomorrow, both games at Inwood at 4:15. Lockport versus Lincoln Way West and Lincoln Way Central versus Joliet West. And, of course, at 6:30 is the championship game. Also, there are consolation brackets being played as well, so plenty of softball again tomorrow. 6:30 on the air, Evan Bredesen and EDGYTIM bring you exciting play-by-play action of the championship game, so we're looking forward to that. You got all your softball vernacular set?
I have my softball vernacular set, and I'm looking forward to a Benetti and Stone-esque broadcast.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. It'll be must-appointment hearing. There's no doubt. So I am looking forward to that as well. All right, we're going to go out to the phone lines, and we're going to be joined by Bill Bicker from Plainfield South. And unfortunately, I had booked Bill to come on and talk about his game this week. And unfortunately, Bill, there is not a game this week. So again, appreciate you taking time and joining us. And just an incredibly difficult week for you and the Cougars this week for sure.
Yeah, you almost need like that tuba sound effect when you're introing me right now.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, it's obviously it's rough and but nothing was promised this year. We knew the possibility of missing games or missing anything was real, and so when we approached it with that attitude every week and telling the kids like, hey, this could be your last week. This could be we don't know what's going to happen. So I think. It's not like that's consolation, but it does help you and prepare you a little bit for when something like this happens.
And you were playing really well. I mean, you were 3-1. You've got is Brian a sophomore or a junior? Stanton?
Brian's a sophomore. Brian Stanton's a sophomore.
So again, you got a sophomore running back that's really tearing it up, and there's nothing worse than when that happens. Again, you never want to see anything get cut short. And so, I mean, the first question on the top of my mind is, how did you approach it with your seniors, and how did you tell your seniors?
Well, so we tried to take our time with making sure we got all the information right. So we have our district's doing a fantastic job, our district nurses and our central office. I mean, it's just an everyday thing because it's not only, with football, but it's the entire district. So we needed to get information to them. We needed to communicate with them. So we really kind of took our time trying to just find out, you don't want to say we're done before we know we're done. You don't want to say there's a chance if there's not really a chance. So we took our time with that. And then, I kind of communicated earlier this week, then just kind of said, it looks like this is it, and I kind of, what I said to them, I said, I didn't have the words because you're trying to communicate. Obviously you can't bring the kids in.
Right.
I kind of told them via our messaging app that, at this time, like, I don't have words to kind of convey the depth of my feelings and emotions. But we had told our seniors repeatedly, like, this senior class is just one of the best groups of kids that we've had come through South, not just from a talent standpoint in football, but really just everything we preach about being respectful, responsible, hardworking, and caring. So, you know, we reached out to them, coaches have reached out to them, but I think like maybe the coolest thing I've seen is that, you know, you would expect bitterness, right? Like that, boom, it's just snatched from you.
Yep.
But seeing these kids celebrate each other, especially via social media on Twitter and things like that, and celebrate our program, you know, has really kind of turned my spirits, at least this week, you know, and so now we're kind of going to take on an attitude of let's start celebrating our season. Let's start celebrating our seniors. And, you know, we'll do some things on Twitter with that. We planned an awards night, a virtual one with that. So let's, you know, let's move on to celebrating kind of this group and this team. Because we were rolling pretty good. It was good.
Yeah. There's no doubt. I talked to Coach Coy about this earlier. When you kind of look at this season, you talk about Brian Stanton again, a sophomore running back who really, you saw it coming. I remember you were talking about him last year as well, about a kid to watch out for.
Yeah.
Who are some of those other kids that kind of made an impact that, you know, certainly your seniors as well as your underclassmen that you can kind of look forward to coming into the fall?
Well, we were very fortunate this year to just have a tremendous senior class. I mean, we had 27 seniors, which is just kind of almost unheard of in this age. Yeah. I mean, it just, you know, and we remembered them as 8th graders when we had them at our middle school camp, and we could see it then. We saw how special they could be. So, you know, I think a kid like Chris Bornhoff, who's going to go play offensive line at Northern Michigan, you know, I think he's one of the best linemen in the state of Illinois. And I know people might scoff at that, but, you know, you talk to us and our coaches and you see what he does on a daily basis. You know, I think I turned to him the other day and I said, Northern Michigan doesn't know what kind of player they're getting, how lucky they're getting. And then, you know, obviously I think of Keith Bronson, you know, all area running back last year. And, you know, kind of like, you know, seals the game away against Plainfield East. You know, we're stuck back on the one, we make the goal line stand and we kind of look and think, you know, quarterback sneak's not really going to work. They're packing it in. And I kind of turned to the kids during a timeout and I said, let's give it to the kid we trust most. You know, and we give it to Keith and he busts out for 60 and kind of that was the end of the game. And just a tremendous kid. I mean, just an awesome kid. You know, still looking for a school, and some college is going to get very, very lucky with him. Chris Garrett, defensive back, you know, just an all-around stud. Was having a great year. Had, you know, a couple pick sixes for touchdowns. He had, you know, a couple interceptions. You know, a kick return for a touchdown. I should say, had 1 pick six, 1 kick return. Trace Brown, defensive lineman, who just really came into his own. You know, you talk about kids that make themselves into players, and over 4 years, he made himself into a player. You know, I can't think of anyone in our program more who from freshman year to senior year just created themselves and turned themselves into something. So you think like that, Tyler Schultz, Lorenz Nelson, Danny Avila, great leader, Hamdi Omar, just I could go on and on and on about this senior group because they really are that special.
Underclassmen, some kids that we need to keep an eye out for the fall.
Sure. We were very lucky. We had Johnny Bailey moved into our district, and you know, he came over from Joliet Central, and we think the world of Johnny. You know, very, very talented kid. You know, kind of set us up with our system. We have 3 running backs in, and it was him and Brian and Keith. You know, we were really in good shape there. So we're excited about him. You know, Robbie Coleman, you know, was a starter for us at inside linebacker. Jake May, another sophomore, started for us at safety. You know, and you know, we feel like there's a real good group of talented sophomores and some really hardworking juniors that a lot to look forward to.
I know that we're still kind of waiting for guidance on the summer and the fall. I mean, I've heard all kinds of rumblings of what might happen, but it's been strictly rumbling so far. Do you have a thought as far as maybe how you would like to see this go down? I keep hearing that. One thing I keep hearing is not to really expect anything to get going until after July 4th. Outside of that, it's been kind of scattered everything. Do you have any thoughts or suggestions on what you'd like to see to get going towards an actual fall season?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I really do think that nobody should do anything until, you know, I even say mid-July. We had to kind of turn in a rough sketch of what our summer camp would be in. I put down mid-July. I think that these kids are just finishing a season, you know, at the end of April. So I think we need to really err. It's not just about, obviously, COVID safety. We're also talking about physical safety with kids. You know, we've never done this before. I would even be in favor of, you know, like you really push back that date. Just let us start maybe the last week of July and go through it then, you know, and then maybe push the opening week off, you know, instead of doing it around the 27th of August, you know, push that thing back past Labor Day, you know, get us a good, month of practice in August, good 3 to 4 weeks, 5 weeks, you turn it in a hybrid of summer camp in the beginning of our season. But I don't think we need to start rushing kids back in June. I don't think that, because those spring seasons aren't even going to be done then.
Yeah. And because let's face it, Bill, you know it as well as I do. It hasn't been officially announced, but the NCAA is going to finally end the dead period. So September 1st or June 1st, everything's back open. You're going to have kids that are going to go to camps. Your kids are already getting camp invites everywhere. So I guarantee you that entire month of June, they're going to be hitting camps. And you know that, and I know that.
Yep.
So
they should. They've got a year to make up on.
Right.
And that would that'd be another way we could encourage that, saying, okay, yeah, you guys, a lot of you have missed out on some stuff. Like here, you don't want to, and I think 99% of coaches out there are great. There's never like hey, you can't go to your camp because we got practice that day. So I think for the most part, we kind of do a good job ourselves. But it'd be nice just to say, hey, this isn't even going to be an issue. Go out and do those.
Yeah, I hope there's some thought behind it. I mean, I've heard the other side where people have said, we already dragged the season out long enough. We're already into Thanksgiving. You go into a couple more weeks, and the weather here can change quite a bit from late November to early mid-December. Which, again, I say let's just build a dome. But that's me. And think about it.
Done right,
I had
another thing.
I had this discussion with somebody the other day. So Iowa has the Uni Dome. Missouri has a couple of domes. The one in St. Louis is currently not really being used, so they can play there. Indiana has the dome down where the Colts play. Michigan has a dome. So it's us in Wisconsin up here in the backwoods where we live. And, well, it'll never happen because it makes way too much sense.
You know what? I'll be honest. It because you guys were just talking softball before you go on, and I know you're into softball and stuff too. If somebody built a domed facility, I think they could rent that thing out 24 hours a day.
Yeah, no, I agree. And my whole argument has been, I mean, look at what Northern Iowa's done with the Uni Dome. I mean, if you're an FCS school, and again, it's a totally different landscape now than it was 10, 15 years ago. Money's completely different, but you would have talked about something that could have separated yourself from the pack. That would have been it.
Yep.
That would have been it.
Yep.
Bill, I appreciate
you. Talk about, like your ISU and you want to get the state championship game back and things like that.
Well,
why not?
Between you and me, I think we're going back there eventually anyway, but that's for another show, another discussion. We can get into it.
Yeah. Yep.
But always appreciate you coming on. I wish we could be previewing your game for Friday, but I still appreciate you sticking with us. And again, just wish you the best and stay healthy. And I hope to run into you sooner rather than later.
That sounds good. You guys be good. Thank you for having me on.
All right. Bill Becker joining us from Plainfield South. And Evan, again, it's just not good. You just do not want to be able to handle that situation and have to tell your kids that put all that work in and they're 4 weeks into it that, hey, that's it. You're done. You just don't want to end your season not on the field.
It's interesting. This hour is kind of coaches breaking difficult news because we talked with Brett Coy, and he talked about the fact that his kids did everything right last week. They followed all the protocol. They've been wearing masks. They've been social distancing. They haven't had personal lives because they understood how much this 6 weeks meant, not just to them, but their teammates. And they didn't want to be the one who let their teammates down. And he said their kids did everything right. And then you still had to sit them down last week and go, we can't play this week because of a COVID contact tracing issue. And it was a situation that was completely out of your control and completely out of the other team's control. You kids did everything right. And now you have another situation with Bill Bicker where he had to sit down and, you know what? If you're a junior, you go, that stinks. If you're a senior, as a head coach, I can't imagine anything tougher than going, your high school football career is done, and it's not your fault. There's nothing you could have done. You did everything we asked you to do. This was out of our hands, and this is the rules we agreed to. And as such, that means we have to sit out so that everyone else can keep playing. And I cannot imagine, as a high school football coach, the pain of having to break that news to your team. I mean, Edgy, I don't interact with the players. And I feel for them when I hear this stuff. My heart breaks. Well, now imagine you've been with these kids for 4 years, watch them come up through the program, and you have to tell them you're done.
One of my favorite parts, and we've talked about this many times, and I've written about it, is his favorite. Yeah, it is one of my favorite parts. Is during the playoffs, and I've talked about it many times, where you have two totally different sides of the field and two totally different sets of emotion after a playoff game. You have the winning side, which is going crazy, happy and excited. Then you have the other side, and it's what makes high school football great. It is the true emotion and seeing that on their faces and that pain. And it's truly moving. And you realize how vested these kids and these coaches are. But you know what? And then I look at this situation and go, Evan, at least they played. At least they left it on the field. In this case, these kids were at home when they found out.
I'll tell this story very quickly, and then I'll tell you why I'm telling you.
No problem.
I had a friend who his senior year, I believe it was his senior year, he was knocked out of the playoffs by St. Rita. Now he's a grown man with a career. He has kids of his own.
Still hates St. Rita.
To this day, if I mention the name St. Rita or Wade Wire, the running back.
Oh, Wade Wire, yeah.
He starts foaming at the mouth.
Oh, yeah.
He's still to this day. Because a couple things happened in that game where he's like, we had it won.
Wade Wire was really good.
We had it. I think he, by the way, in that game, it was against Bennett Academy. He set the state record most carries in a game. I think he carried like 56 or 57 times.
Yeah.
To this day, he still gets emotional hearing St. Rita or the name Wade Wire when we're golfing. And if he's beating me in his backswing, I'll just go, Mustangs. And it's a joke now with us, but he gets upset. And the reason why I tell that story is he's a grown man and he still has those emotions. And I go back to when the season was first postponed. And there was an individual, I don't want to say they're from the governor's office, I'll simply say with the state of Illinois, who was asked about canceling high school sports. And the response was, they're kids, they'll get over it. Again, going back to my point of there never was an advocate in the room. Because to me, if you understand high school sports, yes, we had to be responsible. Yes, we couldn't play in the fall. We were too far behind. We didn't have a vaccine yet. It was not the right time to play football. But just the way it was done, the way it was communicated to me was just totally unacceptable. Because there are kids who now are never going to have the memories my friend has. They're never going to have the team that they don't like.
Totally.
Or they're never going to have the 5-4 beating the 9-0. Yep. We did that. We beat them in that first playoff game. It didn't matter what happened after that. I've got that moment forever with my friends, with my teammates, with my brothers. And now they have none of that. And for the response from the adults in the room to be so callous about it still makes me angry.
I hear you. Well said. By the way, before we go up on our final commercial break, are you ready for your mania?
Am I ready? Of course. No?
Yerman Mercedes, 3-run homer, first inning. White Sox up 6-0 in the bottom of the first. Hey, we haven't hit much.
Can I steal 2 of those runs?
No.
Because at the way my team's going, I don't know if you saw my team.
Your main Mercedes is the story of Major League Baseball right now.
Where did this come from?
He is a hitter. I tell you what, last night, the pitching duel, the White Sox best at bat was a ground out by your main Mercedes. He had the best at bat out of anyone on the Sox last night against Bieber.
And when's Vaughn going to start playing more?
He did tonight. He scored
tonight.
Don't even get me started. In the lineup. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we've got another 15 minutes. We're going to wrap the show up. We'll talk baseball. We'll talk softball. I don't know. We'll talk whatever we feel like. We will be back. Don't go away. This is the Week 5 Spring Edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL Will County's News Talk Sports.
Tried laxatives, nothing worked. Announcing the National PoopFix.com Challenge.
Hey, Kenesha here. I always felt bloated, like I needed to go, but couldn't. Laxatives, fiber, probiotics, nothing worked. Then I found PoopFix. PoopFix worked. Bloating, gone. Making my waist look 5 inches slimmer fast. I feel so sexy hot. And my fiance, well, let's just say love life is fireworks.
Hi, my name is Bob. The PoopFix.com challenge works. Never knew I could go like that.
Sandy here. Now I have perfect bowel movement and got my son and best friend doing it. Bloating gone, making our waist look slimmer. Wow, fixing my bowels makes such a difference.
This is Dr. Rick. Poop Fix works for my patients without laxatives, probiotics, fiber, diarrhea, or constipation because of its revolutionary ingredients. It means a gentle, clean, and easy bowel movement first thing in the morning. It's the easiest way to slim your waist fast by reducing bloating. Poop better, not more, by trying the Poop Fix Challenge at poopfix.com. That's poopfix.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hi, this is Joe Cordell with the law firm Cordell and Cordell. When the prospect of divorce becomes a reality, you need a partner that you can count on. If you're a man in this situation, consider contacting Cordell and Cordell. We've helped men navigate complex legal matters for 30 years.
Contact Cordell and Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Chicagoland area attorneys online at CordellCordell.com. 4320 Winfield Road, Suite 200, Warrenville, Illinois, 60555.
For over 13 years, Elegance Underneath in Naperville has been helping their amazing customers find their true fit. Elegance Underneath offers the best fitting bras in all shapes, styles, colors, and sizes, but specialize in double D cup and above in the highest quality brands. Elegance Underneath has a huge selection of new styles for spring, along with shapewear, panties, and more. And new customers always enjoy a discount on all full price merchandise. Why mess with online retailers, sending bras back and forth, never getting the right fit? Visit Elegance Underneath for your true fit fitting from their fitting specialists. No appointment needed. They'll keep you safe by following all health and safety guidelines and send you home with an amazingly fitted bra. Like Elegance Underneath on Facebook and visit them at Route 59 and 95th Street in Naperville. Elegance Underneath. Give your clothes and body what they deserve.
Hi, I'm calling to schedule a shipment.
Indeed knows unexpected employee turnover can turn your business upside down.
Last pickup is at 7. Team, we gotta hustle.
Like at Sumita's online chai company, to avoid back orders, she needs to get started hiring right away.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. And the moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first sponsored job post. Terms and conditions apply.
ILIN Focus.com. 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 ILIN Focus.com.
Hey, football fans, score big when you order award-winning amazing pizza from Pizza Mia. Find out why customers continuously come back for that one-of-a-kind pizza and amazing chicken. Whether it's their famous thin crust pizza or barbecue ribs, you're sure to be satisfied. Planning a family gathering or event? Pizza Mia has a full catering menu to choose from. Check out one of their locations in New Lenox and Homer Glen. You can see their full menu, and to order online, visit pizzamiaonline.com. That's pizzamiaonline.com.
Take the fear out of home improvement and tune in to 1340 WJOL every Monday at noon for the Prepare to Repair show with RJ Graham Plumbing. For discussions with licensed experts, suppliers, and building officials from our local municipalities, Prepare to Repair will empower homeowners through education. With over 20 years of experience, Steve from RJ Graham Plumbing and his guests will cover the must-knows for your upcoming projects in this Homeowner Power Hour. Tune in every Monday at noon for the Prepare to Repair show with RJ Graham Plumbing.
Pigskin Preview with Edgy Tim on 1340 WJOL.
And welcome back. We are wrapping up the Week 5 Spring Edition of Pigskin Preview here on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News Talk Sports. Want to thank our sponsors, State Farm agents John Wright in Joliet and Kevin Malloy in New Lenox, along with Pizza Mia. You just heard their ad for spectacular pizza, chicken, all kinds of stuff on that menu. And Want to thank Pizza Mia for sponsoring. They can be found online at pizzamiaonline.com. That is pizzamiaonline.com. And again, thanks everyone for advertising. We're going to go out to the phone lines. We've got some phone calls coming in. We always love to talk to you. Just 815-254-7300. We've got about 10 minutes here before we need to wrap up for ABC News. But if you're in, make sure you join us.
We have a caller on the line. He's calling us from the great state of Delaware. He went from his tropical island to Delaware, somehow got a radio receiver out east, was listening.
Hello, caller.
Oh, Edge, how are you boys doing?
Oh no. Is this Bob's cousin, Joe?
This is Bob's cousin. What was the guy from WCCQ?
Oh, Cowboy Ray.
Yeah.
Hi, Joe.
I missed you guys tonight. Hello, how's it going?
Well, first we had you on a trip to the islands, and then I used the 100-year-old line. Which island do you think he's visiting, Blue or Stony? See, he laughed. It must work. And then Evan had you winning a trip on The Price is Right, a honeymoon trip to Delaware.
Oh, sweet! I'll take it.
So
it would have been Yugoslavia, Joe, but unfortunately, no international travel right now because of COVID regulations. So you're going to Delaware.
I'm going to Delaware. Sweet. I'm sure Dad would really enjoy that.
How'd we do tonight?
We took it on the chin 5-4.
And who beat you, unfortunately?
Naperville Central.
Boo.
They can swing it a little bit, but we didn't play quite as well as we did yesterday in our win against Manuka. But again, we got tomorrow. We're playing Oswego tomorrow, so hey, got to go get them tomorrow.
3 games in 3 days.
Yeah, that's high school baseball.
Wow.
I think Joe's pitching tomorrow. Joe, are you pitching tomorrow?
No, not tomorrow.
By the way,
VP tomorrow. Yes.
By the way, my friend, your mania continues to run rampant across Major League Baseball. Bottom of the second, 6-0 Chicago White Sox, 3-run homer by your main Mercedes, first inning.
That guy can just flat out.
He can hit. He can. Did you watch the whole game last night or no?
I remember I talked to you last night. I watched it from the 7th inning on.
His at bat, his pinch hit at bat last night was the best at bat the Sox had the whole night against Bieber.
Okay.
Easily.
Yeah. I mean, there were guys like when Makata got up there, I just knew he didn't have a chance against him.
I know.
I just knew it.
I know.
And there was no way Terry Francona was going to let lose that game with Bieber on the mound.
Nope.
That's for sure.
But
there's no way.
You got to. Again, we turn this into. Way to go, Joe. We turn this into baseball talk. But if I'm Lucas Giolito and as a Sox fan, I feel really good about his performance. I think he showed that once again he is to be considered at the top tier in the American League.
Right. I mean, my coach's cap is still on, driving the car home. But you hate to lose pitching performances like that.
Right.
I mean, that's just a shame. And I know Bieber, Cy Young Award winner and all this other stuff. But again, you're right. Giolito showed Sox fans that he is the real deal. Last year was not just a fluke. He's the real deal.
All right. If you got a minute, we're going to go through the schedule. You ready?
Go ahead.
Lemont at Bolingbrook. Give me your winner.
Oh, I'm going to go. You know what? I'm going to go with the Indians.
Well, they do pay your salary, so I get that. Coal City at Reed Custer. I like Coal City. Joe, Lincoln Way East at Sandburg. I'll make the pick for you. That'll be Lincoln Way East. The Paul Prep at Joliet Memorial Stadium, ATI Field, taking on Joliet Catholic. That is, by the way, our game of the week on Friday, 7:30 kickoff. Joliet Catholic. Yeah.
Game over.
Joliet Central at Plainfield Central. Joe?
1-3 against 0-4. I'm going to go with the Wildcats there.
Interesting game, a rescheduling game, Evan, due to COVID. Joliet West now on the road taking on a 3-1 Eisenhower team.
That one's very intriguing to me, to see where.
You know what?
Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, no, it is intriguing, but I'm going to go with the Tigers. I really am.
Andrew at Lockport. I like Lockport here.
Yes, so do I. They'll rebound after last week.
Manuka at West Aurora. I like the Nook on the road, setting up a very interesting Week 6 game at home against Oswego. Might I be there?
By the way, I know you talked about. I talked to you last night. Their football stadium is outstanding.
Yeah, that's another reason why I want to go cover a game there. They've done a great job with the stadium renovation. So,
that press box, you could live in it.
LaSalle Peru on the road at Morris. LaSalle Peru 3-0, but I'm going to go with the Redskins at home. Joe, go ahead, Joe.
Go ahead. Did I read that Morris, did they get beat last week by Sycamore?
Yes. Yeah, they lost to Sycamore.
I'll take the Redskins on this one, too.
Lincoln Way Central at Stag. Again, I like Lincoln Way Central. Bradley at Lincoln Way West. Lincoln Way West, I think gets the win there, goes to 5-0. Providence on the road at St. Lawrence. I think the Celtics get the win. Unfortunately, guys, now I'm hearing, and I'll try to get this confirmed, Evan, Oak Forest now not playing Plainfield East. That game is now off. So we'll try to get that straightened out. Oswego East on the road taking on Plainfield North. That's a really good game. Joe, we're up against the time, so we're going to have to cut this short.
All right. Go ahead, you guys. Hopefully I'll be around next week, but I'll talk to you, Edge.
All right, Joe. We appreciate it, buddy. BK. All right. Folks, that's going to do it. We appreciate watching and listening and calling in, and appreciate Joe. Does Joe get paid now? I don't think so.
I'll say no.
I think we should dock him.
Well, no,
I think there should be a fine.
No, we tell corporate he's getting paid, but we don't tell Joe he's getting paid, and you and I split it.
And then we like a kangaroo court, and Deb has to make us like baked goods.
That's even better.
Yeah, that's how we got to spin it. All right, for Evan Bredesen, I am Edgy Tim. Thanks for listening and watching. This has been the Week 5 edition of Pigskin Preview on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News, Talk Sports. Good night, everybody.